উড়িনি মন দেল এক গাবুরি, একদিন বেজে ফেল গোড়া গামছারি, হিতে যে ফেল দিন ফারল, অন্যায় আগে এ জগই পুজোর গুড়ি, উড়িনি মন দেল এক গাবুরি।
Kalpana's brothers, Lalbihari Chakma and Kalindikuman Chakma, had to stay in hiding for 2 years. There was constant surveillance of their house from the nearby Ugolchuri camp. Kalpana's mother, Radhuni Chakma, kept the house and home together, counting the days and waiting for her children. She passed away in this house on a monsoon day in 1998. There was a well here, and we sat by the well, and as we sat down they blindfolded us and then told us to walk in this direction, this way towards the west. People came in this swamp and looked around. They came to here. They found a gamcha here. The thing was, in the morning when people gathered, they were looking around and they found some footprints over there and followed the footprints, and the footprints led them to the mark of the boat. That's where all the footprints had gathered. You've come to accuse us? Who's taken them? Lieutenant so-and-so. And then they abused us and said, we must be loonies. If you go too far, we'll shoot you. It was in front of the shop that they saw Firdaus. And Firdaus said, well, how are you, sister? And she said, I'm not well. Why are you not well? Well, in our village, they've set fire to many of our villages. How can one stay well in this situation? And then Firdaus said, but do you know who did it? Then Kalpana said, well, there were youngsters who were keeping guard in the village, and they saw you. And they saw you personally setting fire to the village. At around 1 in the morning on the 12th of June 1996, when everyone was asleep, Kalpana's brother, Lalbihari Chakma, heard someone calling out for the owner of the house. It took him a while to get up, but by then they'd cut the rope locking the gate and ordered him to come out. On stepping out, he saw several armed soldiers and VDP standing in the courtyard. You have to come and see, sir, the soldiers said. He took a pace forward. They shone a torch on his face. He shielded his eyes with his hands, and from the light reflected back, saw Major Firdaus Ahmed wearing a singlet, standing with a gun. That was how he recognized him.
আমরা মনে করি এই প্রশ্ন করার কারণে একজন বাঙালি সামরিক শাসককে প্রশ্ন করার শাস্তি হিসেবে শিক্ষা দেওয়ার জন্য কল্পনা চাকমাকে অপহরণ করা হয়েছে। এটা একটি রাজনৈতিক অপহরণ, সেই রাতে, যে রাতে 12ই জুন 17 বছর আগে, সেই রাতে কি ঘটেছিল তা বলতে আমাদের সাথে আজকে আছেন কালিন্দী কুমার চাকমা, কল্পনা চাকমার বড় ভাই, যিনি সেই রাতের পুরো ঘটনার প্রত্যক্ষ সাক্ষী।
1996 সনে 12ই জুন আজকের এই দিনে আমার বোন কল্পনা চাকমাকে অপহরণ করা হয়েছিল। সেই দিনের ঘটনা যদি আমি বর্ণনা করতে যাই, আমার হৃদয় একেবারে আমি সেই রাতের দিনের কাহিনী যদি আপনাদের সম্মুখে বলতে চাই, একটা ইতিহাস, একটা বড় কাহিনী। ওই কাহিনী হয়তো 17 বছরে আপনারা অনেকেই শুনে আসছেন।
তারা বাজি নিও মুড়ি উড়িঙি মনো তেল এক গাবুড়ি একদিন তেজে ফেলো গলাদাম শাড়ি হিট্টিতে যে ফেলো নিজ জাগা কারি ফেলো অন্যায় আগে জগই পুজোর গুড়ি উড়িঙি মনো তেল এক গাবুড়ি আজু বিজু আমলর সেই আদামান জুলি ফুড়ি সে জুই।
The work was done using sophisticated high magnification microscopes and special radiation. The initial testing was done at the Apollo Lab in Dhaka and at Falmouth University in the UK. Then in Oldenburg the beta testing was done. The bulk of the work was done at the Queensland's Brain Institute in Brisbane, Australia. Post-production was done here in Bangladesh. We've attempted to follow the forensic techniques that might have been used had there been a real intention of finding out what actually happened to Kalpana Chakma. At that time, when Yasmin, the incident happened, when Yasmin died, when she was raped and she was murdered, there was an investigation and the police were apprehended. But with Kalpana, even 17 years later, nothing has happened. And now the police are saying they can't even find the right information. Revolution. Do you merely dance on the lips of Lenin or Marsical? No, that won't do. You will need to be swayed by the call of the Jummas. Revolution. Will your only trace exist in the poetry of Shukanto? No, that won't do. You will need to write the history of the Jummas. Pledge to me, O revolution, that you will dwell in the heart of the Jummas. You, in your own form, I see you in the unfolding of my dreams. What debt brings you here? May your advent rekindle our embers. Kalpana's brother, Kalpana Chakma, who was also taken away, in the paddy field they'd walked through that night. 10 minutes' walk from Kalpana's house was a small marketplace, just a few shops. In 1996, at the Bolshevik New Year festival, Kalpana had a heated exchange with Major Firdaus regarding the Pahari houses he had set on fire recently. Segments of the nearby trees are the only witnesses that remain in this deserted marketplace. As a representative of the Hill Women's Federation, Kalpana was to attend the 4th UN Women's Congress in Beijing. She had a new set of shalwar kameez made for the occasion. The photograph shows a fragment of her kameez. According to friends, Kalpana Chakma had simple taste. What colour of clothes she liked to wear, whether she liked dressing up, are things we shall never know. This ribbon was wedged on a bamboo slat next to her bed, perhaps for her hair. Kalpana Chakma was abducted a year before the peace treaty was signed. Military occupation in the Chittagong Hill Tracts had a different manifestation then. Soldiers were making a list of all young Pahari women. Just getting on with their lives became hazardous for these women. It was to build resistance against this harassment that Kalpana and her comrades set up the Hill Women's Federation. There were days when Kalpana would walk many a mile on organizational work. A segment of Kalpana's shoe. Kalpana Chakma came to Dhaka once and had gone to visit the Parliament building. This was the shoe she wore then. Segment of bark of boroi tree where Kalpana was standing blindfolded before she was separated from her brothers. Dada, Morebasa, brother, save me, were the last words ever heard from her. Kalpana's mother was a skilled hand weaver and loved to make pin-ons. But the last days of her life was spent in want and uncertainty, and she never sat at the loom. Stray ends of twined threads found near Kalpana's bed. 17 years later, there is still evidence, still worth looking. These leaves, illuminated by different radiation, give off subtle but significant differences. Differences that are telltale signs. Differences that lead us to what might have happened. Anil Bihari from New Lallaghola village said, "It was here by that well that they blindfolded them." That is Kalpana and her brothers. The stump of that tree was still there. It was night. There was a path you could walk. They probably pushed them towards that swamp. They lowered her into the water and shot her. People heard the shot from afar. We thought we would find her body here. All day, villagers dredged the swamp with fishing nets. But we never found her body. Kalpana had formed a women's collective in her village. The group was called A Fistful of Rice. The fear of Bengali settlers often made it too scary for Paharis to go to the marketplace. The women would plant spinach and vegetables and set aside a fistful of rice, so they might eat on such days. A photograph of a leaf from her kitchen. At such large magnification, depth of field is extremely low, but we turned it around using all those sectional images to create an illusion of life by creating a video loop from still images.
এখানে যদিও আমাদের একটু আনন্দ লাগে না, ধৈর্য ব্যবস্থা যে আমি মনের মধ্যে শান্তি লাগে না।
দাদা আপনারা কি ইয়েতে আপনার মেয়েকে পরে এদিকে আসছে?
আমরা উৎসব এখানে সকালে এখানে
উনি